In addition, our metros cannot approve developments in specific areas such as Lanseria, Mooikloof, and some West Coast in Cape Town, simply because there is no sufficient bank capacity. As a result, property development has not grown substantially, thus leading to economy not benefiting from potential multiple effects in the sector. Again, let me pause. It's difficult to understand why we cannot finance a bulk infrastructure, because by any standard it's revenue generation. If a municipality cannot do that, then we've got to find a way of helping that municipality to get that infrastructure funded, instead of talking development. This means that the metros cannot collect additional money in the form of proper tax rates from potential developments, and also not be able to pay customers to water and electricity business, considering the declining water and electricity margins, which we are fully aware due to the double digits. Of bulk purchases, municipalities are in a difficult position. This is a trend that we cannot continue to be spectators to. We need to arrest this in the interest of our country. I know people say, no, economists happens in the municipality when you become possessive. Economy is in the municipality, but it's in a country. That municipality is in a country. So you will talk about the cities. I'm a national minister, I must also talk about the country. So, at the national government, we looked at this challenge, and instead of pointing fingers at metros, we've rather decided to take some steps to arrest the decline and underinvestment. This is through the conceptualization and formulation of motor trading services reform and restructuring of the grant system, including performance incentives. Our approach is to work with you in a complementary way by creating an incentive-based grant for trading services. This will create accountability and predictability in grant allocation to metros and national government, respectively. Our vision is to use the incentive to ignite investment in metros, the areas of jurisdiction. Thus, our expectation is that through this incentive, your respective metros will invest additional money on this targeted infrastructure through borrowing and internal generated funds. In addition, we also expect the urban settlement development grant should start to be directed to invest in this critical infrastructure. We need to be intentional in igniting our economy. We need to strengthen the network industries. At the national level, our intentions are clear through this reform. We have committed funds in the form of grants to you. We will continue to allocate more resources in subsequent years. We want to partner with you through investment on the infrastructure that has been positive on economic, on the special applications. I'm just thinking, when I'm saying we provide more resources. It's a daunting task. It's a daunting task. If I were to tell you the truth, demands are growing on the system. The revenue base is not growing. borrowing is at an optimal level. You can't go beyond it. I can't tax anybody over the next 4 years. That poses them to challenge where the resources come from. But my team is still optimistic that we can do these things. But the main thing we're not doing, from national to lower level, we're not asking ourselves, what are the key things we need to do? What are the things we can do without? Those trade-offs are difficult. Those trade-offs are difficult. We don't do that. If you look at how much provinces are pouring into their state-owned enterprises, whereas the economic activity in the weighting for provinces in the formula is about 1%. But the amount of money they're pouring into that stuff then squeezes the resources from other services. We have another imperative, which is in the Constitution, to ensure a progressive realization of the so-called economic rights. And those rights largely sit with provinces and municipalities. But they take us to court, they don't take it. But I'm saying, when we make these choices, we've got to say what is necessary, what is not necessary. I wanted to use an example, but I want to have a meeting with this meeting. I want to do that. I was elated recently when we met in Cape Town to discuss common issues that affect the metros. I wish to implore you to continue with this initiative and be intentional in discussing common issues such as the implementation of this reform. Of importance to us will be to harness key policy reforms which will enable metros to function better. The Metro Trading Service is one area where you can immediately learn together and collaborate. If we work collectively towards implementing this reform, the way we have designed it, it will not only unlock the economy, it will also improve the financial position in the economy. This will be instrumental in improving the Metro financial position and reducing dependence on national government grants in particular. We should reposition the fortunes of our metros and country by restoring and sustaining electricity, water, and sanitation, and solid water waste services in metros through institutional and financial reforms. The cost of this reform require metros to drive and strengthen institutional reforms. For far too long, we have managed the trading services as departments and erode accountability by splitting various functions across our municipalities. Even in municipalities that have entities, we have disintegrated those entities into departments by taking some functions to elsewhere in the municipalities. We need to collapse this split in responsibility and ensure that we establish a fully integrated trading service that are responsive to our sophisticated economy. We also need to commit not only to hiring competent people, but also giving them full responsibility to run an integrated business. As Newman not at metros, but I had stories in municipalities lower than metros, that if you are just taking a teacher and becoming a municipal manager. I had good teachers in that regard. Well, there's the way they can progress, not by going to a function which is a complex. If Dada were to ask me to run CTT, I would say, thank you, Dada. Thank you for your confidence, but I can't take it. Which I can't, because I can't do it. Councils need to ensure that it does not only split the responsibility to continue to hamstrung municipality to establish utilities of the future. In addition, councils also need to ensure that competent people with engineering and business acumen are hired in this position. We should not make the mistake that ESCOM made by hiring people lack of combination of trading service and business acumen. The reform will assist to address years of underinvestment that erode service delivery, strain municipal finances, had an impact on the quality of life for residents and reduce economic growth potential. We wish to see thriving cities that attract investment and self-generated revenue through the metals trading system. As a collective, we will position our country to a new growth. Maybe some of these services can be provided cheaper. I live in two expensive municipalities. Two expensive municipalities, Ekurhuleni and Buffalo City. Those are my municipalities are paying rates in those two municipalities. As Dr. Ian
is looking at you.
He was phoning me. I said, please don't tell me about traffic. The traffic is everyday thing in Gauteng. You must budget for it. You include it in your time when you are going to I'm saying these two, I don't know others are complaining too much, even in their own municipalities. I work in Sani, I've got a number of problems in my office. And another thing is that everyone who wants to do a toy every day has a toy across my building. Ladies and gentlemen, I must then acknowledge the mayors. I did greet them, but I must acknowledge them now. From these, how many metros? 8. 8. Oh, I thought you were 5. I thought you were 5. I can see Ekurhuleni Mayor, Dr. Hen. I can see Fountain Mayor, Jonas, seat of Jonas. Seat of Jonas. I can see seat of Captain Mayor. I can see seat of German Mayor. Where's Buffalo City? Nelson Mandela. I can see Nelson Mandela. Mama right there. I saw Princess coming in. Where? Oh, no. Buffalo City. Where's Mangao? I can see Mangao again. Which another? I can see the mayor here. That's the truth. I mean, harassing him, I don't tell you. Okay, Tshwane, who else? So that's it. Is that number 8? Oh, okay. Now, on a serious note, colleagues, we would like to corroborate in whatever way the metros. From where we come from our own position. I don't know how we work with other departments, but I can assure that for national government, metros are a critical area of work. If we don't keep an eye on metros, we're not keeping an eye on South Africa, because that's where everything happens. Those viewers, I thank you for honoring this invitation. And it's an honor for me to have all the 8 mayors in the room. Thank you very much. What?
Thank you very much, Your Excellency Minister Madiba Kotomani, to Deputy Minister Sarukeni, and Deputy Minister Situl, and all our mayors, MMCs, and the senior leadership from the National Treasury. At this stage, I've been hijacked by Madiba because I must comply. Just to convey our sincere gratitude that even our ministry were a directly and indirectly affected stakeholder on this matter, because it's an important matter. But at this stage, I will ask our hardworking DDG to come and make a presentation on the Metro Trading Services reforms, so that we're all on the same page on the context of this important work that we must do to support you, so that you can discharge your responsibilities to grow our economy, but also meet the basic needs of our people, creating jobs and doing all the most important issues we've agreed as national priorities in the medium-term development plan. Let's give our DDG a round of applause. She will take us through the presentation. Thank you.
Good morning, Minister, DMs, mayors, CMs, and all senior government officials in this room. My name is Ukhalaletseng Haarekwe, from National Treasury, heading the Intergovernmental Relations Division. So we're going to make a short presentation today on this reform. Next slide, please. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Yes. So I think Minister made a point this morning about the importance of the cities play in the South African economy. So now the question before us is, how do we turn the declining services into a platform for growth and trust? And I must say that our cities matter. As you know that 22 million people are staying in these cities, and which is about 5% of the population of South Africa. However, in terms of generating of the economy, I mean 60% of the economy is generated within the city. So therefore, city plays a critical role in our economy. And must they acknowledge that really this reform originates from the request from the cities. It's not really our own doing. So we did a great request to say, can you please extend the support that you offer, which is offered by our program called City Support Program, to turn around city water services, your electricity and solid waste services. We listened when the city managers and the CFO made that request. But it's also clear that we needed to strengthen our support beyond the technical assistance that we provide to you. With the need for urgent and sustained action, we need to align finance incentives to the implementation of the turnaround strategies. So you can see that we recognize that there is a crisis within metros. So, and if we are not going to change things, we're going to be in a death spiral. So trading services, which is your water, sanitation, electricity and solid waste, are really under severe pressure. Years of underinvestment, and obviously, I mean, you've seen that the cities have grown compared to where they were. I mean, Minister made a point about that Lekong and where they were moved and all of that, and so it was Sapphire Town. So obviously, as communities grow, households numbers grow, there is pressure on the system. But also split accountability and weak management has both eroded both service delivery and municipal services. And the root causes are structural, that split accountability, poor financial transparency, weak governance, and declining management capacity are the challenges. And this failures has led to weak revenue, poor investment choices, and inability obviously to reinvest the revenue that you generate from the services into this infrastructure that you need. Therefore, the infrastructure is underfunded, and that has resulted really, I mean, it's a cycle. As you don't invest, and then the infrastructure, it gets dilapidated, you can generate more revenue, there's less money for maintenance and investment. And this is a negative reinforcing cycle that requires urgent intervention. And I think the Minister made a point about the fact that our fiscal position is constrained and we need to get existing resources to work more effectively. And you know that obviously we've been providing conditional grants to you, but we're at the point where we feel like that more grants alone will not solve this problem. So we've reviewed the conditional grants and we continue to do. In the current financial year, we're reviewing the infrastructure grants, which some of them are in the metro space. And this has called for systemic changes to the way grants operate in order to get outcomes that citizens and businesses need to grow the economy. I mean, for example, for water alone, we're spending about 60 billion rents annually. But we still have challenges in this country where people don't have water. But without reforms, the money is being poured into a leaking bucket. So therefore, we need to really change how we do things. Institutional reforms are needed that result in better investment choices. We cannot continue doing the same things and expecting different results. So therefore, that's why we have the view that we were moving towards incentive-based, grants where, I mean, performance needs to be at the forefront. So the wider context of local government reform, including the current review of the white paper and the fiscal framework, is setting the scene for us to review the assumptions that have been made about how we fund local government. How we fund local government. that we can improve how, in terms of how we're being efficient as a country in implementing these reforms. So that's gonna really be important. So with the Metro Trading Services reform, so essentially what we're doing is we're piloting even how the grant system moving forward will work by having this performance-based grant that we're starting to implement from 1 July this year. So Anthea will still